Made by Dyslexia's aim is to highlight the positive side of dyslexia, the strengths that are associated with dyslexia. We're aware that there are issues in education and how education is focusing on the deficit and the difficulties, but that's also the case in the workforce, where people are more focused on the things that dyslexics can't do than they are focused on the things that they can. So we wanted to change that with some research and with some evidence that actually really looked at the positives and the strengths.
It was very easy to get involved in the Value of Dyslexia report for two reasons. First one is my job at EY is to make sure we build the most high-performance company ever, and therefore making sure that we know how to work with our dyslexic individuals and take advantage of their strengths is incredibly important to me and the rest of the organisation. The second is our purpose at EY is building a better working world. How better to get involved with that than to make sure that we contribute to the work that Made by Dyslexia is doing and is needed in the rest of society.
EY took the Dyslexic Thinking skills framework and mapped them across the World Economic Forum skills of the future. They looked at the 6 skills that dyslexics tend to have: visualizing, imagining, communicating, exploring, connecting, and reasoning.
We found that dyslexic strengths align to core work-related skills and abilities of the future. There is a demand for a different type of skill set.
The speed of change in the world and the skills that people are looking for in the new world, or during the fourth industrial revolution, are different to say skills that have been looked for in the past. And dyslexics match very well with their future state.
The common trait amongst dyslexic individuals is that they usually have big picture thinking, the ability to see things a bit differently and to think differently, approach problems and solutions differently. It can really actually bring a better solution to a complex problem. Globalization is upon us. The technological solutions and advancements are completely changing how we interact with each other, which essentially means that at work now we're working across boundaries, across borders, not just across offices. So we need to have types of people who are comfortable with that level of change. And dyslexic individuals specifically are very comfortable with moving and shifting.
The people aspect of our business is very important in a changing environment, and dyslexics are essential, I think, to that change and that innovation and the creativity.
The ability and the confidence to be able to go talk to someone is really important, and dyslexics naturally have this ability to manage upwards and to communicate effectively with people.
So if you're an organisation that needs big problem-solving skills, needs creativity, needs individuals that can do detail but then step back and see a vision, well then I think dyslexic individuals have something to offer to your organisation.
70% of people who are dyslexic hide their dyslexia from their employers, which is crazy because we know that dyslexia has this incredible pattern of strengths. And if they can open up and tell their employers that they're dyslexic, then we can focus on those strengths and also give the support to the challenges as well.
I know in our organisation we try and lean in and step forward and make sure that people feel comfortable about talking about who they are. We have a phrase which runs really deep in our culture, which is bring all of you to work. We want people to have a high belonging here, because under that atmosphere, I think they contribute the best.
It really is about having that conversation about understanding what dyslexia is for that individual. And firstly, how can we help them, enable them at work? And secondly, where can we target these strengths?
If today we were to employ Superwoman, what we wouldn't do is complain that she can't handle kryptonite. We'd look at how good she is and all the wonderful other things she does, but we'd never really draw attention to that kryptonite's not her thing. Surely that's a job that all of us have to do with our dyslexic colleagues.
It is the responsibility of employers to create inclusive environments, but it's also, I think, the responsibility of individuals to really find where you fit. And being dyslexic is all about that. It's all about finding that right place for you and not trying to fit in to places that aren't ready for you.
At EY we made the bold move 3 years ago to radically change the way we looked at the criteria for which people applied to our organisation. And actually we were really keen to create a level playing field. So we removed things like academic criteria, the schools or universities you went through, the jobs of responsibility on the internships you might have, to make sure that we cast our net as wide as possible before you embark upon your assessment with us.
Particularly from my experience at school, I would not have the grades to be able to, from GCSE and A levels, to work with, within a Big Four. So without EY's hiring processes, I wouldn't be in this seat today?
I think the first thing I would say to other businesses is read the report and get engaged with Made by Dyslexia. I think that's a great starting point. And one of the missions that we're on is to make sure that other organisations understand that if you can be more inclusive about how you look at talent, actually you end up with a stronger organisation.
We've had the most incredible response to the Value of Dyslexia report. People have been reading it across the globe, taking it into their employers, taking it into their schools and shouting about the value of dyslexia, which is exactly what we wanted to achieve. We're really excited for the next steps and actually making sure this message gets to absolutely everybody, but also the next report that we're working on with EY right now.